Hi, my name is Sherwin and this is Digitech's What Should You Charge? So what goes on your invoice? Day rates, equipment, and maybe transport. Actually, let's put day rates last since that's probably the most variable. Let's look at this from multiple angles. You could just look at other digis and see what they're charging and copy paste, but you might be following them off a cliff since they might be charging the wrong amount for the upkeep of their gear. Or it might be tailored to their specific situation, which isn't yours. You have a tether cable, a backup tether cable, a laptop, cart, maybe a camera, iPad, extra monitor or two, backup UPS, hard drives, and whatever other accessories you might be bringing on a job. So what do you charge? This is the magic equation, but we'll get there. So this isn't a wishy-washy, what am I worth type of thing. It's a financial calculation based on business models borrowed from the equipment rental industry. This is semi-location dependent, but after looking at tons of different rental house websites and making notes of what they charge, you can see that they charge a day rate ratio of between 20 times and 60 times rented per the cost of the gear. That means at 20 times, once they've rented that item for 20 days, that item is paid for itself, and any amount of times that they rent it thereafter is their profit. 20 times for items like cables that don't last as long, and 60 times for harder wearing gear like carts or C-stands. They've come up with these numbers over time, and they factored in costs like how long an item lasts, maintenance, tax, amortization, which is the depreciation of gear over time, which is a tax write-off, also discounts that they give to regular customers, and down days, repair, and insurance. So let's look at it practically. A laptop. You figure that'll last you quite a long time, especially if it's just you operating it and you know you would take good care of it. Let's say you mainly work on location, which means a lot of moving around, which means more damage to the gear, so a little bit less. But you don't want to just be the standard. To keep getting those jobs and solving the problems on set, you've got to be at the forefront and have the latest problem-solving tech, which means upgrading more often. Plus, you won't be nitpicky and add a line item for every single peripheral. So you've got to factor that, build that into the cost. Does that seem like it's getting expensive? If you're a photographer or a producer and you're putting a production together and you hire a digi without EQ, and get the gear from a rental house like you would for lighting, you'd expect to be paying around 25 times, maybe 35 times if you're a regular, and 45 times if you're not getting the latest and greatest tech, which, by the way, you as a digi could also rent from a rental house and pass those costs on to a client. I recommend creating a relationship with one. A lot of them will have special rates for digis and are really helpful with letting you get to know the gear. But you usually have to pay for it upfront, as well as insurance, which you then have to wait to get paid before recouping those costs. And you have to set up those machines with your presets and software each time before a job, which means more time. And to be frank, it's never as good as owning your own system and knowing it inside and out. So assess your gear and compare with rental houses near you and find the balance. If you're too expensive, you'll find out quickly because nobody will hire you. If you're too cheap, you'll find out after a while when you can't afford to upgrade. Okay, let's talk transport. This doesn't apply to every location, since some of the time you'll be driving your own car to a studio or a location anyway. But in a city like New York, you'll most likely be taking an Uber or a cab, and if the production was renting from a rental house, they would have expected to be paying for a delivery of that gear anyway, and it's pretty standard to add that as a line item. The thing is, It's not really their problem if you live an hour away. If that's the case, then find out what the standard charge is for delivery from a rental house, and then get a figure that's fair to everyone. Day rates, having worked in a few countries and having made friends with Digitechs from all over the world, I found this to be highly variable. It could be anywhere from $100 to $750 and above. The overarching thing here is that nobody starts at the top. You work your way there. How? I guess the best way is to keep improving and keep learning. Work closely with a photographer and figure out how to improve the set experience for everyone on their set. Know how to print on set, know how to get power when there is none available, and figure out how to make it all as seamless as possible. Get onto a producer's call list and make yourself indispensable. I've seen a few Digitechs booked a year in advance with a cash deposit to secure their dates by seasonal clients. The irony is, the better you're able to automate yourself out of the set, the more you'll be able to charge for your service. I hope this helps as a guide. Follow the magic equation, and you should always be on top of your business. Ciao.